the pressure off him slightly then as he takes all 3 points from Inter. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we? A former Inter man, Jurgen Klinsmann, joins us, as does Aage Fjortoft. All right, let's not mess around, Jurgen. Penalty or not?
Well, you can give it, but very, very soft. Obviously, very, very soft penalty. I wouldn't have given it, but yeah, he pulled him just for a split second, and that was enough then. But very soft decision.
Aage Fjortoft?
Well, I will say you can give a penalty for stupidity from Bastoni. Yes, very soft, but he gave VAR and ref a chance to give it.
Oh my God, you've gone to two guys that would throw themselves to the ground for $10.
There is no diver here.
$10 is generous.
All right, I can maybe give you a pass, Jan, but there's no way Jurgen's getting a pass.
But there is no rule saying that he just did a free kick for 2 seconds, 1 second, a split second.
Let's talk about
you can't throw yourself after the shirt is released and it's still in that act. Anyway, that's the way that they managed to get the 3 points and the win, which is the bigger story.
Yeah.
In the sense of the week or in the season that Arne Slot has had, or more importantly in the 4 or 5 days that Arne Slot has had, even if it's that long, regarding the Mo Salah mess and how the club and himself have dealt with it thus far. Mo Salah didn't travel. I think that's a crystal clear sign about, you know, what way this is going to go. And I think also the fact that they've gone to Inter Milan, who didn't pose the greatest of threat going forward, it has to be said. So that would aid and abet the fact that Liverpool kept a clean sheet, which they've been horrendous at this season. So that's a huge bonus. They were a lot more solid. They had Ekitike on the left, they had Szoboszlai on the right, but playing a little bit of a hybrid. They had Alexander Isak through the middle. They had an extra midfielder in there, so they had a little bit more solidity about them. Andy Robertson played, Joe Gomez played, so a little bit more defensive strength. And it was another sign to say to a guy in Mo Salah, who I think most of us have thought did not choose his words particularly well, when he basically said, this club owes me everything, this club owes me a favour, I have achieved everything here. What were the words that he said? I have nothing to prove. I have earned my place. I have earned my place at this club by what I have done in the past. And I think most people have jumped in that, rightly so, and said, well, no, your place in the team is judged on recent performances, as Stevie said yesterday. And those were the words that sort of got up a lot of people's nose, the entitlement of, how dare you question my place in the side? How dare Arne Slot drop me? And the one way to sort of put it to bed a little bit, certainly for a few hours, is to go to the San Siro, is to go and play Inter, is to keep a clean sheet, is to win the game and say, do you know what? You might not be on board with what we're doing. You might not be on board with the manager. You might be whinging about decisions being made. But we've got some other players here at this football club that are willing to roll their sleeves up and go and do the job. And Liverpool did that tonight.
Inevitably, this is where the conversation was always going to go, Jurgen. If you were Arne Slot, how would you have dealt with Mo Salah over the last 48 hours?
Well, this is always the biggest kind of not problem, but the challenge for managers. You know, when you have players that are not content, when you have players that are mad and suddenly face a different reality of their situation. And obviously what Mo Salah did for Liverpool is unbelievable, is fantastic. I mean, he's been such a big figure, and he will be forever legend at Anfield Road. But kind of, you know, time moves on, and they made some decisions in the transfer window this summer, bringing in, you know, players, young players, for more than, I don't know how many 100 millions, and you got to make somehow a space for them, and you gotta figure it out as a manager now. You know, who's in front of who do I have to bench here and there, and then it depends on how the players react. So you have all these big names and big expectations, and then the things didn't start well for Liverpool, and that's why I think, you know, today we saw a Liverpool team that was very well organized defensively, but didn't create much besides maybe the chance from Bradley there in the second half going forward. But you could also sense it, you know, watching the game, that not even Inter knew how to take this Liverpool side today. You know, Inter should have created more, should have done more, put them more under pressure and go for 3 points. solution instead of waiting until maybe something happens, and that's when something happens at the very end, if it was penalty or not. But the end result is a 1-0 win for Liverpool, and it's huge. It helps obviously Arne Slot in that critical moment. Obviously they have to sit down, they have to talk with Mo Salah, they have to go through that, and everybody, the world is watching, world of football at least is watching the situation. But for managers, really, this is very, very tricky. If you have a roster that is overloaded, especially in certain positions, where they double the positions, and you have high quality, extreme quality, and then you have to figure out a way to tell your players you're going to sit on the bench. Now, obviously, it's more difficult to tell an older player. I call them always more experienced players, because I don't like the word old, because you are only good or bad. There's no old or young. But in his case, obviously he's 33, and the players that they brought in are far younger, like Florian Wirtz, for example, and so they are the future of the club. And now he needs to realize that he has to fight his spot with these youngsters coming in for obviously a lot of money, and now these conversations have to happen and make things clear. But it's not easy for Mo Salah at all, emotionally, absolutely not. But for the manager, he has the job to make this kind of decision, tell more experienced players in this case, your time is going towards an end. And this is really a difficult one, because you carry that with you as a manager forever, because you are the one that told an older player, it's time to go. It's time to kind of move on. I'm going to bring in now some youngsters. I tried with the next wave of players. And obviously you can see that Liverpool is in a kind of a transition. Something that maybe Inter Milan is now going sooner or later into, because that is a team that is too old. You could see it today. Acerbi was going out then. Çalhanoğlu was leaving the ground. And it's a very old Inter side that now needs to figure out a way to bring in younger players and refresh their rosters. So they will maybe be in the same situation as Liverpool next year or in 2 years from now. But again, this is work for a manager that is not easy.
Jürgen, what would it take for Salah to play for you again after saying what he did? Would you expect an apology from him?
I think an apology would help the case, because he put himself a bit too much in front of everything. But I think it needed a cup of coffee, between the manager and the player, and then obviously an open talk from the player to his teammates, and then prove your point in training, just show everybody that you are right there, that you want to fight for your spot. He's obviously one of the best players, ever in Liverpool history, and he's still good. He can still easily play another 4 or 5 years. Messi is 38 and Ronaldo is 40. Why can't he play until 38 or 40? Now he's going obviously to the Africa Cup of Nations, and then we will see him with Egypt in the next summer's World Cup. So he has so much still to do and to play for. But it wouldn't hurt for him for sure if the team is coming back tomorrow and then they have a quick training session and maybe just to mention a couple of words in the dressing room.
So he apologises to Arne Slot. He goes back in the side, plays badly for the next 4 or 5. Once he comes back from the African Cup of Nations, that is. His form continues in the same manner in which it has been for this season, which has been poor. For whatever he's done in the past, that's gone now. Great numbers, unbelievable numbers, which is one of the reasons that Liverpool had to give him the big salary. They were under somewhat a lot of pressure with Van Dijk and Salah to give him a new contract, because they couldn't be seen to be letting go superstars who were winning the Premier League. But there was always the worry that these players at their age were going to fall off a cliff at some point. Those numbers were going to drop. And in some sense, I think this has fallen into Liverpool's lap in terms of they could offer him to Saudi Arabia in January or whenever it is, and they're not going to look like the bad guys. But if he comes back in the team with an apology and plays badly, and Arne Slot has to leave him out again, where do we go? Right. Where do we go? Because he's already basically said, Mo Salah that is, that you're dropping me, the superstar. You can't. He's basically saying you can't do that. That was paraphrasing what he said in his words. I have earned my place That's saying and saying I have earned my place. He's saying what I've done for this club, in his eyes, and then Stevie said yesterday, what this club and these players have done for him. It works both ways. But what I have done for this club means this manager should not have the right to leave me out. I think that's the part of it that just got me sitting back going, wow, that's super arrogant. But, you know, and the other thing is from tonight, this was such a big game for Arne Slot tonight, because had Inter Milan taken this Liverpool team apart, and we've seen it this season, by 3 or 4 goals, I'll guarantee you every man and his dog would have been saying, maybe Mo Salah's got something. This guy's lost the dressing room. It would have been a lost the dressing room conversation. So this was a huge night for Arne Slot.
Jan, it must be so refreshing to see a Norwegian journalist get a decent interview.
Yeah, my colleague was just standing there. It was unbelievable. I spoke to him straight after. I was in the studio and we got a message. Hey, he has been filming it as well. We got it. But it's an amazing story. And I think now, 48 hours afterwards, we can also reflect on what's happened in a bigger perspective, because I think the king is dead, long live the king. I mean, this is a club that took Bill Shankly left, Bob Paisley in, Sir Kenny in for Kevin Keegan. It moves always on. And I'm with Craig. I mean, I can't believe that his best argument was that I have earned my place. That means that Sir Kenny Dalglish can figure out tomorrow that he wants to play against Brighton on Saturday, and he can play. I mean, I think that's the worst argument ever. It's all about today for sports people. We know that we get our legs, we get tired at some point of a career, but you have to produce. I mean, nobody can look at the performances of Liverpool Football Club this season. Nobody can look at the performance of Mohamed Salah this season and can say that he should be a fixed starter in every game. And you saw it tonight as well. This was the same thing that they did against West Ham. This was a professional way. They came there, disciplined, conceding no goals, winning a football game. And the other argument, if I may say at the end, is that of course, Mohamed Salah has the freedom of speech. He can be as irritated. He can be as annoyed as anyone. But there's been coming out reports, of course, that a striker like he, one of the 2-3 superstars of the Premier League, is not happy to sit on a bench because it goes off his proudness. But then you go in the dressing room, go to the manager, go to the owners, do whatever you want. But you can't do that. I mean, we're all selfish. We all got our kind of proudness, but you can't do that. Sorry, mate. Although we love you as a football player, you can't do that.
Atalanta 2, Chelsea 1 then is how it finishes. Jan, you'll keep an eye on this game for us. What's going on with Chelsea?
Well, it's always when we talk about those contenders for anything that they are gone.
Yeah.
And today, I mean, we saw the goals there. I mean, 1-0 up, and then for me, yes, Camacho. It's so free. You can't do that. You get teased over to the near post, as Craig was alluding to, but still you can't let him do that. There is something with this Chelsea team that it reminds me of the good old Dortmund teams. You remember when one player went down, 7 went down? There is something with the mentality in that team. They go down together. It's not that 1 or 2 go down. It's like a mentality in the team. Joao Pedro had a chance there at the end. Having said that, we have to respect Atalanta, not a flyer in La Liga. No, sorry, Serie A, sorry. But in the Champions League, doing ever so well, and they were clever. And I think you were kind, Craig, to the goalkeeper on the second goal for Ketteler. I think he didn't look well at that goal either. So a sad night for a Chelsea team that can't last as a contender more than 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, but I was just looking at the league table there. I think they're 10th.
Champions League table?
Yes.
Right.
They're 10th out of...
I'm being told they're 11th.
11th. 10th. I was looking down the glasses. All right. Smart Alec producer. And, you know, there's 400 teams in this freaking league. You know, there's like 36 teams.
No, I understand the jeopardy's not there, but this isn't good for Chelsea,
This isn't about the Champions League per se. This is about their form, their consistency, their inability to take and harness what they had in the Arsenal game, which seems to be what everybody's talking about, because it was particularly good. and then go and do this. You know, lose at Leeds, albeit Maresca made 2, I think, big mistakes in the changes. He left out Neto and he left out Reece James. They were 2 of the best players against Arsenal. Bournemouth was a dull game. Bournemouth bossed the first half. Second half was pretty dull. And then a loss tonight. And I think that's more the concern for Enzo Maresca going forward rather than this Champions League table, is the fact that, are they going to pick it up? Can they put a consistent run of results together? Can they get a consistency within their team selection? Can they defend well enough, which we didn't see tonight? So I think those are all the questions that we thought we had the answers to from the game against Arsenal at home. We thought, wow, this could be pretty good. This is much better than we thought at the start of the season. And then we have these 3 games, big disappointment.
So who are the real Chelsea, Jan?
That's a good question. I think they will go through, though. If you see they're playing Paphos at home,
they'll be fine.
Napoli, they will be fine in doing that.
Yeah.
I think the real Chelsea are still looking for their identity somehow. I mean, we can see what they can do when they are very good. We can see that. But if you see their lowest point, it's too low to be up there. You see Manchester City as kind of going their bad games, but still the bad is still at 3 points. With Chelsea, is the lowest point is too low, and you saw that today in key scenes in the game that they're not up for it. And but I think they will be all right. And maybe it's something wish thinking that we want the Premier League to be so exciting. We want Chelsea there, we want City there, we want Arsenal there, and they are probably not good enough mentally.
I bet we don't have any questions tonight on Extra Time about our Chelsea title contenders.
No,
And you know, that's what people.
that ship has sailed.
But that's
going to move on now. That's a nice segue into extra
but I was
time.
going to slaughter.
I was going to move on.
I was about to slaughter the people that send the questions in.
Well, you can do that freely on Extra Time today. That's available, of course, on our YouTube channel.
Melodramatic man he is.
Barca 2, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. My first question was going to be Jurgen. How would you react if Lamine did that?
I heard them on the phone to you. Said if I had the producer on the phone, he just said, "Did you see Lamine Yamal throw a huge rock when he came off the field? Oh, a massive tantrum, a bit like Vinicius Junior." And we went, "Oh, that's a talking point." And then
He's let us down. He's let us down. That's what he's done.
Never ever to be trusted again. That man in the gallery.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, go on, ask about the tantrum.
That's completely put me off what we were going to talk about. Barcelona win then, Jurgen, but once again, that little vulnerability at the back.
Yeah, it continues, but obviously for them, thankfully they won the game. 2 headers from Koundé. I thought the second header was a very difficult one for him, but I was wondering if the goalie maybe wanted to come out at a certain point because the ball was up in the air for quite a long time. Yeah. But no, it's a good result obviously for Barcelona, but they keep offering chances to their opponents, and Frankfurt is a little bit more clinical. They get an equalizer, they tie the game up with 2-2 or maybe even score before. But there's pure entertainment always guaranteed when you watch Barcelona, no doubt about it.
They got. I mean, they'll offer up. I mean, I'm just
going to go to Jan. You don't even have to butt in.
I feel that I'm semi-recovering from the drama.
Jan, Eintracht Frankfurt would be disappointed, wouldn't it? They didn't get something from this game.
Disappointing. I mean, this is a team that concedes 6 goals a game. I mean, we're super happy. I mean, they lost 6-0 to Wolfsburg. Now to Leipzig this weekend, and we conceded 29 in the Bundesliga. No team in the world has conceded more goals. Now, to be fair, I think that, yes, Barcelona were the better team, but they didn't create a lot of chances that we feared, especially in the first half. I think they will be very disappointed the way that the goals came. I mean, if you made a list of the players who are going to score against you, and then you end up with 2 goals from Koundé, you will think, oh, we should have put the money on him because that was a high odds. I think Frankfurt will take this game into where they are at the moment. In the table, not so. I think they're 2 points away from a Champions League place, but still been a bit disappointing for them and conceding unbelievable numbers of goals. So I fear them. When I sat down to watch this game, I feared this game big time. But yes, the Champions League is gone now, and Jürgen will know the best words in German is Doppelbelastung. Oh. They have played Champions League and Bundesliga, Champions League and Bundesliga, Champions League and Bundesliga. The double kind of energy has taken a toll on Eintracht this season. So we just hope that they will sort it out before Christmas.
Yeah, and all that Lamine Yamal drama has taken its toll on us.
Well, who would have thought we'd talk more about Frankfurt than Lamine Yamal?
We'll never trust him again, will we?
Yeah, you know what he's like. Just a reminder, full programme of La Liga matches for you coming up this weekend. Barca, of course, looking to extend their lead at the top of the table. They're at home against Osasuna. For Real Madrid, who will be in charge of their game away against Alaves. All these games are live on ESPN+. With a 3-1 victory. Jurgen and Jan still with us. Jurgen, talk to me about Leonard Carl.
Well, as a super special talent, absolutely outstanding at that age. It's impressive. He seems like just to play like he would play in the youth team. You know, he doesn't get bothered by 70,000 out there. Tackling very, very gifted, very creative. Has the smell for where the ball will end up in the box, which reminds me a little bit of Thomas Müller. He always knew where the ball will drop. So this is a very, very special kid. And I mean, obviously in Munich, the big discussion is, once Musiala is coming back, how these two youngsters will play together. There's a lot of excitement there. And then there's the speculation, and Jan Aage knows that. Is this kid already mature enough to go to the World Cup next summer?
Would you take him, Jurgen?
Well, if you have a kid like that, I mean, obviously now you have 26 roster spots, which is not so easy for a manager to deal with. 26 players instead of the 23 before that came all with COVID, obviously. Well, I would take him in a heartbeat, absolutely.
Well, Musiala, what will Musiala's fitness be by the World Cup? I mean, when are we expecting him back, guys? Do we know?
I think we expect him back. It was a bit delayed. They hoped that he maybe gets some minutes before Christmas, but it seems now that they will save that to over the new year. So in a month, 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, he'll be back. Good news for Canada today. Alphonso Davies got some minutes today. Talking about injured players, been out for a while. So he was on the bench and came on in the 88th minute. So that's good news for Bayern and good news for Canada.
I suppose if Musiala's back and has 3 or 4 months of football, and this is not easy, and gets his form back, because when you have such a bad injury, we've seen it with Rodri at Manchester City. Come back in, much more experienced player, but come back in, play some games, pick up some other injuries, play some games, pick up some niggles. These things can happen and they can really wear on you. And that might not be the case for Musiala, but we've seen it with Ansu Fati as a youngster at Barcelona. We've seen it with Pedri as a youngster coming back and getting niggles. So it would depend how he comes back in. If he comes back in and he's fully fit and he's flying, then Musiala will go to the World Cup. I suppose the one question you could be if Leonard Carroll keeps playing like this, is it Florian Wirtz that might be?
Right.
No. Florian Wirtz and Musiala will so go to the World Cup. They will go there with a Nike wheelchair. I mean, that is no chance. The big thing is
are you saying if Florian Wirtz, and listen,
yes.
I think they're great players, but even great players have poor seasons. Are Germany still, if Florian Wirtz continues to have a very, very average season for Liverpool, in and out the team, left out the team, are you saying there's no chance the youngster would go?
I think the youngster will go. I think Jurgen makes a very good point with a 26-man squad. I think you should bring in players, be ready for the next World Cup, the next European Championship. But Florian Wirtz and Musiala got so much credit in the bank. Yep. They are seen as the future of Germany, even if they have a poor season. But I would bring Leonard Carl, absolutely. And the thing is, I think the last game of Germany, there were 5 Bayern players in the team, and with the form Bayern is having now, they can only help Julian Nagelsmann. And then we see how proud he is. So many players he dares to play in the starting lineup, because at the moment Bayern is playing better than the German national team.
Yeah, very true, Jurgen. How much does that play on your mind if at all as a national manager?
Well, as a national manager, I mean, obviously you observe now all your players, for the next 5-6 months, and see what rhythm they're taking, and what form they are. But it's not that Germany has now 20 world-class players. You have your top players within your team, your first starting 11, and then you have, the key players coming off the bench, 12 to 15, 12 to 16, and then you have players that, you hopefully can feed into the team at a certain moment, maybe with some specific qualities that you need suddenly to break a result, or to defend a result, or whatever. So I'm sure that Julian Nagelsmann knows already who to count on, and I just think, in a World Cup, when you go into that period of the 2.5, 3 weeks of preparation, and then obviously this World Cup will be exceptional with 48 teams, and it's going to be a 5.5 weeks tournament. Things will happen there that you cannot even think about right now. And even if Musiala now maybe is not ready yet, he still can grow into the tournament at the end of the day to make a difference, let's say in the semifinal or in final, if you make it all the way to the semifinal or final. So it's a lot about timing, it's a lot about the momentum, it's a lot about the chemistry of the team. And even if Florian Wirtz maybe has not the best season, or is in his first season at Liverpool, he might be a completely different Florian Wirtz with the German national team than coming to the United States. So there are so many little topics that the national team coach have to deal with, and it's obviously it's fun to deal with those topics. But I think the German side, looking at it from the outside, has a very competitive squad.
Bayern, of course, a big part of that squad, who are flying in the Bundesliga so far this season. They'll be looking to continue their brilliant start to the season on Sunday as they're at home against Mainz. Of course, a reminder, all these Bundesliga matches live on ESPN+. Well, what a shocking month it has been for Xavi Alonso and Real Madrid. Of course, just the 2 wins in their last 7 matches. The latest, a horrible defeat at home against Celta Vigo. A final for Xavi, looking ahead to Real Madrid against Manchester City, of course. Ultimatum, says the front page of Sport. Here is, well, for now anyway, the Real Madrid manager.
It's not about changing, it's about adapting, because I knew pretty well the culture of Real Madrid. That's why it's the biggest club in the world, and you need to adapt it, you need to learn from it. And after there is a process. You need to have this interaction with the players, how we want to perform. Some days are good, sometimes are not that good. But from every game we take steps. And now we are in this position right now. We have to face it with good energy, with positivity. That's the only way to turn it back and to have a better feeling.
Antes has hablado de que siente mucho el respaldo de todos. ¿Tú sientes que tienes el apoyo de toda la plantilla?
Sí.
Jürgen Klinsmann, Jan, with us. Jürgen, you kind of experienced this, obviously, when you were in charge of Bayern. What's it like where every media outlet is saying pretty much, you're on your way out, you're a dead man walking?
It's not a nice feeling, to be honest. But the question is always, do you have the back of the club, of the leaders of the club? In this case, at Real Madrid, it's mostly the president, the owner. How is that relationship going? If that relationship is a positive one, I don't think there will be any consequences at that moment in time. Obviously, the best way to get out of that situation is getting results quickly and getting wins and calm down the media in a certain way. But obviously, you feel a bit alone. You feel like everybody's blaming you for certain results that didn't go the right way. So what Xavi is going through right now is tough. But he's a fantastic manager. He proved his point, with Leverkusen. It's a totally different ball game, obviously, at Real Madrid. He has a lot of alpha animals there in his roster, in his squad, and the club is massive. It's no comparison now to Bayer Leverkusen. So I just keep my fingers crossed for him that he goes through it and stays on board.
Alpha animals is a good word to describe some of those players within the squad. And it seems like Xavi Alonso doesn't have the control that he needs to if he's going to make this team successful.
Well, I think it's easier to get the Bayer Leverkusen players to buy into what he wants than some of these big egos. There's no other way to put it. The big heads at Real Madrid are more difficult to manage, and that's why somebody like Carlo Ancelotti did such a good job, because he's such a specialist at managing players. He's well known for his ability to do that. And even he struggled with that in the end. Look, I don't want to see anybody lose their job as a manager, but we live in the real world here. He's a walloping away from losing his job tomorrow. And this is one of the worst teams that are rolling up into town. Manchester City. Not that they're the greatest City side, because they have their own issues, particularly defensively. But boy, they can score goals for fun. They can open teams up for fun. If it's Foden, whether it's Cherky, whether it's Haaland, any of these players, Marmoush, any of them. Some of them don't even get a game these days. And this Real Madrid side are not only decimated in confidence, they're decimated in personnel. They got injuries to Militao again at the weekend, and he's out to March. They got suspensions. They had Carvajal already out. They had Trent Alexander-Arnold already out. They have got Fran Garcia playing left back. They've got doubts over Kylian Mbappe. And Florentino Perez is sitting upstairs. And if they get beaten tomorrow by, maybe if they get beat 1-0, I don't know. But if they get beat 3 or 4-0, and it could happen, because this Man City side are in better shape than Real Madrid, I would fear for the decision that Xabi Alonso is going to be taking when that phone rings.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think they could win tomorrow and they'd still be gone before Christmas.
Well, it does seem that way, but, a win tomorrow, and that may be buying some time. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I don't know. Because it looks like he's having these difficulties with these players. And we do it every week, La Liga. And some of the things that are sort of leaking out are suggesting that the players and the player power is starting to take some sort of hold. However, no matter what, if they get a hiding tomorrow at home against Man City, it's over.
Jan, are you surprised the way this has played out?
No, and I don't think Alonso is surprised. No, I don't think Alonso is surprised either, as was Jurgen Klinsmann.
But yeah, when it was announced that Alonso was going to be the Real Madrid manager, you went on it going, no, this is a big mistake, he shouldn't take it, this isn't going to work out.
Did I say that?
No, exactly.
No, exactly.
So this is a surprise, isn't it? This is a surprise, because everyone thought, Xabi Alonso, he's perfect to step into Carlo Ancelotti, new blood coming in.
But if you ask me if the process is surprising when you lose football games, this is the same with Salah. If you don't perform, you will be in question, even if you're Mohamed Salah or you're Xabi Alonso. Jurgen knew when he went to Bayern, he knew what Uli Hoeneß did, he knew what Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. There was always that the media will go after him. He knew that. And still, you are surprised how quick things goes. And it's an interesting thing with Xabi Alonso as well. We tend to forget, because we like him, he's very charismatic, he was very successful as a player, he was very charismatic manager, or a successful manager of Bayer Leverkusen. He's still a quite young coach, quite inexperienced. So he get this job very early. Yes, that happened to Zinedine Zidane. Yes, we were talking about Ancelotti, the biggest fox of them all, the wolf, call him whatever he wants. He went to Bayern. He couldn't cope with Bayern. I remember him in Paris after the game in the Champions League. He looked like a coach that never want to see a football again. So that's my answer to your question. It's surprising when you don't win football games. If you struggle, it doesn't matter what your name is, as it is for Salah. You can't, in our competitive business, rely on anything of your name or what you did yesterday, unfortunately.
In some sense, the writing has been on the wall when you look at it. And you think about Carlo Ancelotti last year and his struggles. And yeah, Barcelona played well, but Real Madrid struggled. When he's having to ask Vinicius Jr., tell Vinicius Jr., run. I need you to run. I need you to work hard or you're coming off. When he's having to do that and you have a young manager coming in that wants to play a higher pressing, higher intensity game, you're fighting against the wind from before you even get there, because you're asking players to do something that they don't want to do, that they think they are above. They want to play. Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, particularly Vinicius Jr., he wants to play when it suits him. And when Xabi Alonso had the success at Bayer Leverkusen, it was about the team. Yeah, they had Florian Wirtz and some other really good players, but it was about the team. It was about the shape, it was about the work ethic, it was about all these games that they were drawing or losing it in the 94th minute, and they came back and they rolled their sleeves up and they picked the points up because they were all together. They were in it together. This lot at Real Madrid are not in it together. And no matter what Xabi Alonso does, when that's the case, you are going to struggle. And when you're trying to implement something that's your philosophy and you want to do, and you want this to succeed, but they've got different ideas, you're up against it.
So, Jurgen, does that mean that any manager that comes in is kind of, well, set up for failure?
In the long run, certainly, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it depends a lot. A lot depends on your relationship with the ownership. You know, in this case, Florentino Perez and Xabi Alonso. What is their relationship? What is the backing of Perez for Xabi? You know, so players see that relationship, and your leverage with the players depends on that relationship you have with the owner. And if that is not the best relationship, and if the owner is not stepping out and says, you know, this is the direction we go, then you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable every weekend, and especially when you don't have the results right away. So this is the problem for every manager in a big club coming in. The question is, what is your leverage with your team that you have? So obviously, Xabi's leverage at Bayer Leverkusen is far, far bigger than at a top 5 team, you know, if it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Manchester City, or other ones, you know. So then over the time of his coaching career, he will build more leverage, meaning more stamina and more credit with the ownership groups in the place that he coaches then. So because I think Pep Guardiola is a wonderful example of how he built himself incredible amount of leverage, because every player will do whatever Pep says, because he's now, you know, I don't know how many titles he won in the last 20 years. So this is the tricky part is, okay, how big is the backing of the ownership?
I mean, you know, crazy decisions. You know, and I'm sure Xabi Alonso didn't want this. And I'm not suggesting this is the deal breaker for a better team, but it just tells you the mindset. Jude Bellingham should have had the shoulder surgery at the end of the season so that he was super fit and ready to go pre-season and ready to start the season. That's what a manager wants. Not to play in a Club World Cup and then miss the start of the season, then be chasing your fitness when you have a new manager coming in. I'm not saying if Jude Bellingham was up to speed, Real Madrid would be winning, but it's this kind of mindset. This kind of mindset that's just wrong. You know, prioritising a competition in the summer and delaying an operation for a player to miss the start of the season is completely against the grain of what most other clubs would do and how they would go about it.
We'll, of course, be looking back at Real Madrid against Manchester City with Jurgen Klinsmann on the next edition of ESPN FC. Be sure to join us for that. Will it be Xabi Alonso's last game in charge of Madrid? Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Craig is here in the studio. Jan Aage Fjortoft is with us. Jan, Virgil van Dijk disagrees with you. He said it wasn't a penalty.
He said it wasn't.
Yes.
Gracious in a must-win game that can save your manager and the club. Well done, Van Dijk.
He did say, though, that the handball goal that was disallowed should have been allowed.
Just
so he made a 1-1.
There you
well
go.
Done.
Jan, you happy with your World Cup group?
Well, that's our first question. Jan, can Norway top their World Cup group? They are. You say people ask stupid questions. You've just asked exactly the same
no, that's a good question.
As one of our viewers.
I'm happy that we're playing where we're playing. That fits us. On the East Coast.
Who is your group again, Jan? Remind those who weren't paying attention.
France and Senegal, and then Bolivia, Iraq or Suriname.
Okay.
So we'll probably be Bolivia, but we played France in the third game, which I think is good.
Right.
We played one of the playoff teams in the first game with Haaland, Sørloth and Strand Larsen. We should be able to score some goals. And 8 of 12 number 3s go further. So I think we'll go on.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
I think the reason why they said this group was quite difficult is that maybe Norway was the best team in top 3. So they didn't want us.
Yeah, I think everyone wanted to avoid you.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's a good job because it was almost the same group as...
Oh, yeah, so your group was Brazil, Morocco.
Brazil, Scotland, Morocco.
Yeah.
And if Norway had not been in pot 3, it could have been the same group as 98. But you're absolutely...
But they were in pot 3.
They were in pot 3.
So therefore, your story's irrelevant.
It's a moot point.
It's irrelevant.
My story's irrelevant. But I agree. I think, I honestly think Norway... I mean, you think about a turnaround, and we talk about international football being cyclical, and you think about Norway have had some really good teams, you know, been high up in the FIFA rankings, then they really slipped. I mean, really slipped. And now they're back looking, I think, really strong. I mean, if I was France, I would be worried about this group.
Oh, everyone's getting out of the group. It doesn't matter.
You're getting out as third place.
There you go,
I mean,
so don't worry.
I think the main thing, just to end that, I think that the end thing I think in a lot of that, this team, because we have to kind of cover our weaknesses. And if we do that through scoring goals, a lot of players going forward with Haaland, Sörloth, Strand Larsen, Bob, Nusa, Sander Berge, Martin Ødegaard, and very good players. It reminds me a bit like, and hopefully we can have as near as a closer run. But Croatia had 5-6 great players, and they always tend to kind of take the weaknesses away. We got some a bit dodgy at the back sometimes. We have a goalkeeper doesn't play all the time. He played good in Italy and so on. And we have, as Jürgen Klinsmann has always said, a roster. Our roster is depending on our main players. I think our national coach will go in church or wherever he will go to pray that our key players won't be injured, because then we're struggling.
There's no jeopardy though. I mean, you think about
I just told you that.
Talking about teams getting out, you know. But if you finish in third place, then you're going to get a more difficult group. More difficult game. That's what I'm talking about for France. But when you know, I was talking to somebody the other day about the Scottish national team, and they said, well, they might get out, and I said, yeah, but they might get out of the group for the first time ever, but they might get out in third place.
Yeah, they'll still be out, still better than you did.
It's a moot point.
I'm just saying.
You want to lift home tonight?
Yeah, well, that's true. I didn't lift home.
Stop halfway up the I-84. You can walk.
But here's you.
I wish I hadn't asked that question.
You can't call Norway dark horses, because they are very much up there as one of the best teams that we saw in qualifying. So you're not allowed to do that. It's like when people call Belgium dark horses. Anyway.
Dark chocolate.
I don't like dark chocolate.
I hate dark chocolate.
No, it's too bitter.
Belgian
I
waffles.
thought you'd like it.
Why? Because it's bitter?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not bitter.
Craig, have you ever played with a team where 95% of the players are out of form at the same time? It's referring to Liverpool.
No, but I played in a team where 95% of the players weren't good enough.
Right, okay. That was Derby?
Not quite.
Or Scotland?
No, it was Derby. Well, that wasn't 95% of the players, but it was. Let's just say it was a pretty weak squad. No, not that amount of players been out of form. No. Who's out of form?
Well, Van Dijk, Konate, Isak, Wirtz, Gravenberch,
Callister.
Yeah, it's quite a few. They've gone Ekitike and Szoboszlai, the only two that they're the 5%.
And Ekitike was one of the players that got dropped when he was in good form. So,
Jan, sorry, we used to talk.
No.
Jan, Carl is the youngest player to score in 3 straight Champions League matches. We talked about this, didn't we, on the show? What did Bayern have to do to continue his development in a healthy and sustainable way?
Keep Vincent Kompany as their manager is a good thing. To have him as a coach, because he's made a great rhythm in the way he plays these young players. I think that is the key to any young players. Don't let them play every game, not being the starting 11 all the time. He scored a game today. He's the youngest player in the Champions League history, the youngest player to score in 3 consecutive games in the Champions League. He is the super hit now in Germany. They all want him to go to the World Cup. So keep him calm. I think everybody says it's not good for him that Musiala is coming back. I say differently. I think it's good for him that he comes back, because Musiala will take time to find a rhythm, and Lennart Karl will get his minutes. And I think that the worst thing you can do with young kids is to you heat them too much up. And I think it's good for him that he has a very sensible manager in Kompany.
Yeah. What do the country make of his moustache, Jan?
Oh no.
Oh, I think he put a beard on today, so I thought that was better.
Right.
I think that what he did in November, I don't know if you know, this is a Movember thing. I think that was, hopefully that was because that didn't look well, did it?
Not great.
No.
No, let's move on, because I know where you're going with this.
No. When I got my beard, it was grey, so I got it very late. Maybe I would have done the same when I was 17 if I had a chance to get a beard.
If I had a 17-year-old, which I don't, they're all older.
Right.
I'd shave that off.
Yeah, but then he'd just grow it to annoy you.
Yeah.
But if he's got your genes.
Great father, Craig.
Yeah.
You go to your 17-year-old. Hey, listen, son, I got to take your moustache.
Right,
Good one.
Yeah, you gotta put your foot down with a firm hand.
Craig, what's your honest opinion about this Chelsea side? Terrible or promising?
Not terrible. not terrible, but showing some promise, but how much, I don't know. And that's, you know, we got a lot of questions when around the Arsenal game, title contenders, this is you were all wrong. And then they've lost their edge.
Yeah.
You know, 2 defeats and a draw. So whether they can put it together, I don't know. I mean, they're not terrible. They're absolutely not terrible. But I just don't know where they sit. I don't know what success for them is, whether it's, you know, 3rd or 2nd or 4th. It's certainly not going to win the league. So
Isn't it a problem, Craig? When you see the Chelsea team, you just see one player. You know what I mean? I mean, they're all the same. I mean, they have the same mentality. They do the same silly mistakes. They do the same good things. And when they go down as a team. When they win, they are. I mean, there's just a mass of players. When Palmer is not there, it's just like one player running out there.
Right, yeah, and upset everyone at Chelsea. Jan, rank these Gen Z players by predicted career accomplishments when they retire. So who will have the best career, basically?
At the end.
Yes, exactly. Well, you didn't have to put at the end, did you?
I just feel that I have to...
Butt in. Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Lamine Yamal.
I don't accept the question because Mbappe is playing for France. He's already won the World Cup.
Okay.
Jamal is playing for Spain. He's already won the European Championship. Norway, we had a celebration in our streets by qualifying to the World Cup.
Okay, should we say domestically then? Domestically.
Domestically, it's... I will, of course, say Haaland.
Right.
Because he will break any record. If he bothers, he will beat Shearer, this Premier League record. If he bothers, he can even beat Jimmy Greaves. Bother saying that he would stay in England for so long. But fantastic players. I do that with a Norwegian heart, of course.
Okay, so what order, Jan?
Order would be Haaland, domestic, Yamal, Mbappe.
Okay.
Good. ESPN FC returns your screens tomorrow. Real Madrid take on Manchester City. Our big talking point. Craig's back in the studio alongside Ali and Jurgen.